morning, Cubs Nation. We are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. The Cubs get back on the winning track 6-0 yesterday after a beautiful performance by Matt Boyd. The defense came to play as well. We'll break down the game, all that and more. We have, of course, more trade speculation as we get closer and closer to the deadline. 8 days away, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be next Thursday. For all your Cubs rumors and coverage, make sure you are locked on into Cubs Daily. We'll be breaking down the trades when they happen. We'll talk about all that impact and so much more. We're going to get into your viewer comments as well this show. But again, just like I said, appreciate every single one of you who take the time to watch the videos, who've liked the videos, commented, and of course, if you've subscribed, you guys are the best. Let's keep that train rocking and rolling as the Cubs get that victory 6-0 yesterday. A much needed exhale from this Cubs team, right? It feels like forever when they lose 2 in a row. It hurts my soul to watch them lose 2 in a row. And it also hurts my soul when Milwaukee's on an absolute heater. Yes, you know, until yesterday. Shout out to the Mariners. Shout out to y'all. We're tied back for first place. But again, our loss stopper, I've been saying it for a few weeks now, Matthew Boyd on the bump, came to pitch. We'll get to him in a moment. The defense came to play as well. One thing I did enjoy seeing, though, is that we were driving in runs, not via the home run ball. I think this Cubs team could score in a multitude of ways, not just the home run ball, but the home run ball will play a pivotal role come October, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to make sure we get those bats right for the month of October, because that's when the long ball plays really, really well. So, again, fun to watch the Cubs get that victory yesterday. It was 2-0 until the 5th inning. That's when the Royals had their best chance again, Matt Boyd, and a literal line drive shot. Again, a really hard hit ball, but the Cubs got lucky and it was right at them. And again, if you remember that, I think it was 7th or 8th inning on Monday, they were getting all the luck, right? Little bloops here, little bloops there, not solid contact whatsoever, and they just kept pouring it on. And I'm like, fine, baseball, it's going to come back the other way. The Cubs got it that way last night. It was a line drive shot to Dansby Swanson, an athletic diving play to cut him off at second base for the double up and get the Cubs out of that jam. And of course, the Cubs were facing Rich Hill, who, you know, again, for 45 years old, looked okay. He was pretty solid. I mean, his off-speed stuff is wicked. It's got a lot of great movement on it. But again, he's not blowing it by you. But he can still touch 90, which is really, really impressive. So shout out to Rich Hill on that one. But let's talk about our main man, Matt Boyd. He has not allowed a run since July 1st. He's pretty much gone the whole month of July. He's been absolutely brilliant for this Cubs team as we continue to, you know, stay afloat here in the NL Central and during the month of July. He has been what we needed in terms of a top 2 pitcher. I am gaining more and more confidence by the day for him to start in a playoff game for us. I really want one more pitcher, so it could be Shota, Matt Boyd, and, you know, person X. But again, Matt Boyd has done the job that we've all asked. What a great deal by Jed. He's really, really done his due diligence. He's picking up the right players, and they're hitting all the correct notes. Let's take a look at his numbers from the game yesterday. Again, 7 innings pitched. That it might be the most he's pitched all year. 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. Of course, no earned runs. And he threw 63 out of 93 strikes. Again, Matt Boyd was brilliant yesterday, and just what this Chicago Cubs team needed in terms of stopping that 2-game losing streak, getting us back on the winning track, and then putting us in position to get back into first place. So shout out Matt Boyd. We appreciate you over here. What a great signing by Jed. And I'm really, really hoping this train continues. So Matt Boyd's first part of Matt Boyd's career, he really struggled as, you know, I think he was a Tiger, and he was a Blue Jay, and it just wasn't there. And then he got Tommy John surgery, and then he went to the Guardians. And the second half of last season, it all just clicked. It all just started to click for him. And he's been a really, really good pitcher in baseball ever since. Like I said, this month, 23 scoreless innings consecutively. He's now 4th overall in ERA and all across the big leagues. And he's 2nd in the NL behind the great Paul Skeens. So, Matt Boyd, man, have yourself a season. And the Cubs got him, I believe, on a 2-year deal. after these 2-year deal, he is going to get a nice extension. He is 34 years old, but he's not a blow by me guy, right? We're not really concerned with his velocity dip or anything of that nature. So Matt Boyd could pitch for another good 3 or 4 seasons potentially here. That's just how good he has been recently. So ever since the TJ surgery, he has been dynamite. Now, the Cubs, of course, are just attached to pretty much everybody in the trade market sphere. I do want to note that Edward Cabrera did pitch yesterday for the Marlins, and according to sources, the Cubs had presence at that game. They are scouting him. So let's put to bed the rest. I don't think they're going after Sandy Alcantara, which I know to the comment section and to Cubs Nation, that is a tremendous yes. We do not want Sandy. And, I don't disagree. But again, if the price was right, I might take a flyer on him, but I don't think the price would ever be right, so I don't want it to happen. But Edward Cabrera is another name that has been very, very solid for the Marlins, and that is one eye to keep on. But we're going to talk about a new name that I saw in that report yesterday with Jeff Passan, and that's Taj Bradley. The Cubs have reached out to the Rays about him, Fairbanks, and I believe Ha-Seong Kim as a utility player to help supplement the defense and get some more bench depth as well, because that's another part this team is lacking. I kind of want them to call up the kids like Owen Casey and Kevin Alcantara to throw them on the bench to add some depth, but again, they're running the squad. They know what they're doing over there. But hey, let's take a look at Taj Bradley's numbers this season. They're not overwhelming. He was a top prospect for the Rays, a few seasons ago, and nothing's really clicked for him. His ERA plus is way below average, compared to what we were seeing with Seth Lugo yesterday. The whip, he's allowing just a little bit too many runners on base. The ERA is a little bit high. So again, this is kind of, Jed has spoken to this specifically. He's talking about the 2021 Atlanta Braves, okay? The 2021 Atlanta Braves had a strategy at the deadline. They acquired a lot of underperforming talent, okay? So, that's what they did, and they were kind of expecting more of a return to the mean, return to normalcy from them. And again, winning baseball, like, that stuff matters, to these teams, especially when you're getting the dog days of August and all that stuff. If you're on a losing team, it's tough to get up and come to the ballpark and give you your best every single day. I'm not saying it's changing everyone's specifics, what they're doing that year, but it does have an impact. So could I imagine if Taj Bradley comes to the Chicago Cubs, who have one of the best records in all of baseball, one of 3 teams with 60 wins as of today, maybe his numbers get a little better, right? Maybe he has more run support. There's a lot of different factors that could play into it. So I think that could be Jed's strategy in this sense, is he's going to look for guys who might be kind of quote unquote underperforming. Guys like Zach Gallen, right? He is not pitching to normalcy by any means. So again, curious to see what they do. Taj Bradley is a very interesting name. I am going to flash up that graphic one more time. I don't know what his cost would be. I really, really wouldn't give up more than, our 9th or 10th best prospect, that's due to come up this year. I'm not really sold on him per se, but I think that's kind of the benefit and the risk of trading for him, right? You expect him, if he can get that ERA like down a point here in the National League in the second half, that is a good deal for the Cubs. Taj Bradley is a very solid pitcher. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of leeway. So, hey, maybe the Cubs could swing a deal for him, and it could be cheap on the prospect side and prosperous at the big league level. Now, let's get to some of your guys and gals' comments. I want to share your guys and gals' thoughts. I love our comment section, both positive and negative. Again, if you're correcting me, I am A-okay with it. I am not perfect. A shout out to the gentleman yesterday. It's Ballesteros. I butchered that. I apologize. But hey, let's just get right into it, right? Sharing from Jay Golden. He says, I don't want to see Suarez end up in Milwaukee if the Cubs roll with Shaw. Suarez's bat in Milwaukee lineup would be scary. Jay Golden, you are absolutely correct, my friend. This could be the worst nightmare for me. I don't know if a lot of you guys and gals know this. The Milwaukee Brewers are my least favorite team the Cubs face. Yes, I know the Cardinals and the White Sox are kind of generally more as their notoriously historical rival. I don't like the Brewers. The Brewers, I don't like them at all. And so if Suarez goes there, that is like technically a match made in Cubs hell, per se. I would say Suarez, who owns the Cubs, going to our bitter rival, would still continue to own us in that sense. So I don't know what the asking price is for Suarez, but the Cubs need to make sure they are giving everything they can to make sure that the Brewers don't get him in that sense. Because, yes, him going there could be a problem. Now, I know the asking price is high for Suarez, so I'm not sure what the Cubs are going to do. I don't think they're giving up anyone in their top 5, so that means Casey's safe, Alcantara safe, Ballesteros is safe, etc., etc. Jefferson Rojas is safe. I wouldn't worry about that too much, but it's going to be curious to see. You know, they say the Brewers are going to be active at the deadline. The Brewers are historically notorious for, developing their talent and riding that talent as far as it could take them, and it takes them to the playoffs pretty frequently, at least here. So good comment there by Jay Golden. That is not something I'd rather see. If the Cubs are not going to get him, send him to the AL so I don't even have to deal with him until potentially the World Series. Now, I'd love to see Shaw rebound and take that job. It would be great to not have to trade for a third baseman. Shout out to you, Scott Emery, for dropping that comment. And yes, I agree 100%. If Shaw can continue to do what he's doing this past week, then we won't need to trade for that position, right? But man, Suarez is such a tempting option. I love Matt Shaw, and I think he's going to be our starting third baseman for a long time. But I'll say it like this. I don't even think if Eugenio Suarez retired today, Matt Shaw would not catch him up for this season's home runs until 2027. That's just the kind of tear Suarez has been on here recently. And I really think the Cubs, if the cost is right and, you got to give up like a James Triantos, again, guys that are bird cell, go get Suarez, go make it happen, plug him in at third, make Matt Shaw a really, really nice bench bat for this team. And, that's where the depth can really, really help in October for us. So great comment there. I would like to see Matt Shaw really take a stranglehold on the job. I am just personally curious about the Suarez situation and if he could, really, really add a gigantic boost to this team, right? You bat him 4th or 5th, and you go into the postseason, and you just see Michael Busch, Nico Horner leading off, right? Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki, PCA, or Eugenio Suarez interchangeable, depending on if you're facing a righty or lefty. That would be deadly. And then you got Nico Horner / Dansby Swanson / Michael Busch, all in that, 6 through 8 range, and then you got Ian Happ towards the end of the lineup. So I think that could really, really be helpful for this Cubs team. I'm also excited to get our man Miguel Amaya back as well. So I think that could really, really help us get to where we need to be and take a stranglehold of this division and get us prepared for October. So that's going to do it for Cubs Daily today. Again, I appreciate every single one of you guys and gals who have been hanging out with us, locked into the comment section. Again, continue to share your thoughts down below. Smash that thumbs up button if you're truly enjoying the content. And of course, if you haven't already, what are we doing? Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate every single one of you. Let's have a great day. Go Cubs, go. They play at 1:20 today. We're facing potential trade prospect Seth Lugo. Best of luck. Go Cubs, go, baby.